aims. In March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic struck and the world shut down. Scientific information exploded about the new coronavirus, but so did misinformation about its origin and treatment. It struck me that misinformation could be explained by breakdowns in the mechanisms of information that I had identified, just as disease is explained by breakdowns in the biological mechanisms that support health. I later expanded this analogy to look for ways of transforming misinformation into real information, just as effective medical treatments help to transform disease into health. I hope that the tools developed in this book for converting misinformation into real information will help people deal with medical issues along with many other threats we now face. Because of the practical importance of misinformation, I've tried to make this book accessible to a wide audience. A glossary summarizes key concepts explained more thoroughly in the text. I reserve more technical, academic matters for an online supplement available at paulthagard.com. This online supplement will also provide live links to all the web references in the notes. After the theoretical basics are introduced in chapters 1 to 3, the application chapters 4 to 8 can be listened to in any order. Those wanting an executive summary could first explore chapters 1 and 8. Chapter 1. Lies Kill. The Perils of Misinformation. Misinformation kills. Phil Valentine was an American radio host who told his audience that they were at low risk of getting COVID-19 and should not bother getting vaccinated. In August 2021, he died of the disease. By 2022, more than 1 million Americans had died of COVID-19, despite wide availability of effective vaccines, which many people declined because of misinformation about their risks and benefits. In July 2021, Lytton, British Columbia, recorded Canada's highest-ever temperature of 49.7 degrees Celsius, 121.3 degrees Fahrenheit, a heat wave that experts said was a sign of increasing global warming. The perils of climate change have been evident since the 1990s, but misinformation from oil companies and their political allies has discouraged actions to slow global warming. The heat wave in the Pacific Northwest led to hundreds of deaths, and the Lytton wildfire killed 2 people in their 60s. A mob attacked the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021. They were motivated by misinformation that the 2020 election had been stolen by Joseph Biden's allegedly rigged victory over Donald Trump. The riot produced many injuries, including more than 100 police officers, and 1 rioter was killed by police. Several subsequent deaths of officers were attributed to the stress of the traumatic confrontation. In May 2022, Peyton Gendron shot and killed 10 people in a black neighborhood of Buffalo, New York. He had posted online a document endorsing the conspiracy theory of a plot among elites and racial minorities to replace the white majority. Modern democracies proclaim that all people are equal, but even the best perpetuate inequalities that harm the disadvantaged. For example, Canada had higher rates of COVID-19 deaths for people who were poor, minorities, or recent immigrants. In the United States, the decline of life expectancy brought by the pandemic was greater for Black Americans than for whites. In February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine with casualties that quickly included thousands of deaths and millions of refugees. Russian President Vladimir Putin justified the invasion by spreading misinformation that Ukraine is dominated by neo-Nazis. In all these cases, misinformation caused deaths. Even when misinformation is not lethal, it can be dangerous. People who get bad medical advice can suffer needlessly from disease. Increased global warming will lead to food shortages and panicked migrations, as well as millions of deaths. Political conspiracy theories undermine confidence in democratic governments and encourage authoritarian alternatives, with governments